I start every video off with so. This is video number 3 from my sports class on protein. I just grabbed this image. It's not in the lecture slides that are in Canvas, but it's a nice way to show you how cells of the body take amino acids. You got 20 options, 9 are essential, 11 non-essential, and you strand them together. Here's a long strand, and eventually this thing will fold. It will fold into certain shapes, and then ultimately those shapes fold into other shapes, and then what you end up having is a specific type of protein: sucrase, insulin, collagen, hemoglobin. That final shape will be dictated upon what's in each position. Is it the right thing or is it slightly different? Since we all look different, all of our proteins that we have in our body must have some subtle differences that are enough to get our body to work, but also make us all look very different, right? So, anyways, so we were talking about high quality proteins. They're highly digestible. They have all the amino acids, or they should, and a lot of them. And plants, not so much, right? They're just not perfect. If you compare protein sources that you eat, a complete protein would have, I'm going to use this line. This little line is the question: is it there, and is there enough of it? So there should be 9 little bars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So does it have all 9 amino acids on the plate in that piece of chicken? Yes. Is there enough in that piece of chicken? Yes. That would be complete. Now, that would not be for chicken. That would be for egg and milk. More likely, chicken kind of looks like this. All 9 are there, but one's kind of low. We call that limiting because it would limit your growth. Here's another example. There's just not one that's low, 2 are low. For most foodstuffs that aren't egg and milk, they're going to be low in a lot of these columns. Now, a lot of bodybuilding products that they sell on the internet, on Amazon, at GNC, they only don't have all 9 amino acids. They got plenty more than you need. You could argue that this is a waste, right? Well, that's Dr. P. I can't use that to build my body. It's more than I need. I can't build more cars than the number of steering wheels I have, right? You get 5 steering wheels, you can build 5 cars. You can have unbuilt, completed cars, but they're not going to be sold on a lot somewhere because you don't have the steering wheel. But for bodybuilders, some of this extra stuff may be around the body for 24, 36 hours. Maybe that fills in some gaps when you're eating food that's not quite up to snuff. So I'm not going to disparage protein supplements. They generally have way more amino acids than you need. But for bodybuilders who carry so much muscle, they can never err on the side of too little. They have to err on the side of, I eat more protein than I need. Because if I don't, I could start losing muscle. Right? Not gaining muscle, losing the muscle they currently have. Oh, okay. So what if you eat a lot of plant foods or animal foods that aren't egg and milk and they're incomplete? Folks, this is the whole planet. We all eat this way. I don't know of anyone who just lives off egg and milk. We eat things like corn and rice and beans and lentils and chicken and tuna fish. Well, sometimes they're missing in some stuff, like beans, and sometimes they're missing in other stuff, like grains or chicken or wheat, and we add them together. That's called complementary. We are complementing one food with another. The Native Americans in the East Coast would do this really famous planting technique called the Three Sisters. And the Three Sisters were basically beans grown on corn stalks with squash. Squash have giant leaves, by the way, around the outside. So the leaves actually would protect the corn and the beans from having any weeds. And then if you eat all those together, the corn, the beans, and the squash, it's not a perfect meal, but it's got all the amino acids you need. Complementary. Think about the foods you eat: chicken and rice, beef in a whole wheat tortilla. The beef isn't perfect. The whole wheat tortilla isn't perfect. Together, they're complementary. Is it more efficient to go with just egg and milk? Yeah, sure. But who doesn't want to have like a chicken taco or if you're going with soy, like some deep fried tofu and some rice? I mean, of course we do. So this is the way we eat, and we get our amino acids just from all over the place. Complementary. And this is from my cultural foods class, which I haven't taught in a long time, but Italy is famous for pasta. Italians eat a ton of rice, especially in the north. And my mother's family was from the north. We ate a lot of rice growing up. I would say we ate more rice than pasta. And my mother loved beans. We never ate fava beans. I think those are fava beans, but beans and rice, complementary. East Asian, Indian, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Pick any of the stans, that whole area. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Lentil, bean, rice. China, Vietnam, Japan, noodle made of rice or wheat and beans, soybean, tofu. The Caribbean. Literally pick an island, pick the bean they eat. They're all eating rice. This complementary is, and this is just the plant stuff. If you add in chicken and rice, same thing, because chicken's not perfect. This is how the world does it. This is how we all do it. You could live off egg and milk. It would be a boring way to live. Okay, so we're looking for the essential amino acids. We want to make sure we're getting enough of them. And you might say, Professor, isn't it easy just to kind of do an essential amino acid calculation, like what's coming in and then what am I losing when I go pee? What am I losing for essential amino acids when I cut my hair? When I shower and I use a scrub and I take skin off? Yeah, it's really complicated. Nobody does that. What they've been doing for 100 years is asking a simple question. And it's based on a simple fact. When you look at the macros, carbs, protein, and fat, which one has the element nitrogen? So I'm going to skip back, and I apologize for doing this, but here's our typical amino acid. Every amino acid has an acid group, a central carbon. This has got a couple hydrogens. And then this group, this is called the amino group. And in the middle of the amino group, here it's highlighted in red, is nitrogen. There's no nitrogen in glucose, and there's no nitrogen in linoleic or linoleic acid, omega-6, omega-3. There's nitrogen in protein. And since it's easy to measure nitrogen in urine, which, by the way, is not all the nitrogen that you lose, protein that you lose. So if you measure nitrogen in the urine, that's kind of an indication of broken protein. And if I just took a plate of food that you ate, on all your food you ate on Monday, you went to a salad bar, three meals in a row on Monday. I saw what you ate. I made an identical plate, so you get to eat your food. And then I measure all the nitrogen in all your plates from the salad bar. Does that amount of nitrogen, again, representing protein, because all the nitrogen in your diet is really in the amino acids in the protein, does that equal all the nitrogen you peed out, that you lost on skin, that you pooped out, separate from bacteria? And that's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that we eat the amount of nitrogen that we lose. That's called nitrogen balance. And when nitrogen in equals nitrogen out, or protein in equals protein out, you eat what you lose. Hey, bodybuilder, your body's trying to get rid of protein. It's always breaking down muscle. Fortunately, you eat what you lost. Hey, runner, you're running long distance, you're putting a lot of damage on your muscle tissue, so you're always repairing your legs. That requires protein. You pee out some of that protein from broken muscle, but you eat what you lose. Most of us are, if we're healthy and we're adults, we're in what we call equilibrium. We eat what we lose. If you do not eat enough, that is catabolism. You are breaking down your body. Think about having the flu. That doesn't stop your body from getting rid of nitrogen from broken amino acids and proteins, or just hair falling off, or you going to go pee. But do you really want to eat when you have the flu? So your intake is low, your output is still there. 0 minus something is negative. That's negative balance. Typically, folks in negative balance start to lose muscle tissue. Positive balance, maybe with weightlifters, but really it's pregnancy or kids going through a teenage growth spurt. Infants, toddlers, they're eating way more protein than they're peeing out or losing because the protein's staying inside. They're actually building up the size of their engine. Nitrogen balance. That is a key concept of this class. I'm going to end on this and then pick up on that.